Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of the Backyard Sportscenter podcast. Today, you have along with us Wizard and Mr. Crab himself, Bobby.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Thanks for coming on, Bobby.
Not a problem. Excited to be here.
So this week we are going over week 7 / the mid-season, kind of halfway through the season. It is, as you're recording this, the kind of the end of the All-Star break. So I figured this is a good time to kind of take a look back at, see what kind of how the league is turning out through 7 weeks. So Bobby, you are in both leagues. And kind of how do you feel like the season's going so far? Just kind of as a general feeler about it.
Specifically, like as it pertains to myself, or like are we talking in general for the whole league?
Whatever you want to say.
Well, I'll try not to make it about me. The league's it's going strong right now. We got a lot of signups, like if I'm not mistaken, before the season, a lot of influx from BBOL, so that's always cool, to grow the brand and whatnot. I know you're a huge proponent of that. A lot of excitement, and I think me personally, who loves like tracking like the playoff picture and whatnot, like I think personally I'm very okay with the 6 playoff teams, the expansion. Like I think it's going to create some interesting matchups. I know we're only halfway through the season, and I like to think 4 to 5 games is kind of enough to know like who's who. I still think that like those 4 through 6 seeds are going to be like quite interesting, especially to me on in the National League in 01, and then you've got the really both in 03 is also it's going to be pretty interesting. So that's something that's exciting to me, and I just think there's a lot to be excited for right now in our league as a whole.
Yeah, so speaking of BBOL, obviously we did get, I think, a good influx. We got some of their strong players over here. Obviously Hines at the end, or as a substitute last season, and then Schwilly, just to name 2 of the kind of premier BBOLers. But did you sign up for season 4 of the online league, Bobby?
I did not personally, like nothing like against the league or anything. Like I think they run a tight ship over there, and it's run very well. It's just the online, it's just kind of like not for me competitively. For one, because I'm just not very good at it, even though I was like maybe 1 game below 500, so I'm not like awful. Just I think it's a totally different play style, and for me anyway, it's not my thing. I think I think I enjoy it much more on a casual level than I do in a competitive, setting.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose to not do it. I almost considered doing it, but I also didn't want to like bite off more than I could chew with my schedule, and then I didn't want to be like, I don't know, maybe like 1-4 and then just decide to bail, because I don't like bailing on things. So
I was the same.
It is also a possibility that some people do that and they sign up as to be a sub.
That's true. I just with the 2 teams I've got, I don't think there's going to be huge overlap in the schedules, but as it is, I'm already managing 2 teams over here, and just, kind of trying to finish off my college semester. I'm like literally at the tail end of everything. Like I've got the 4 classes I've got this, and I kind of just want to focus on ensuring that I take care of that, and, don't want to bite off more than I can chew in other areas.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, definitely finish strong at that, because you're going to be proud of yourself for completing that schooling.
I'm getting a degree in Ivan Kingism.
And what is that?
Getting a 100 rated slow ball that just like breaks the space-time continuum.
That's a sick degree. They didn't offer that at my school.
Well, I think if you are getting a bachelor's, and I think I have a PhD in Ivan Kingism.
For sure.
But before we get too carried away, since you did mention the online league in season 4, that is just around the corner. We had, I think, like 53 or 54 signups, so that's the most we've ever had. So I don't know exactly how we're going to be splitting it up. So obviously we're going to have at least the humongous league and the junior league again, but I don't know if we're going to have possibly like a third league or whatever because of how many signups there were. So that's really interesting to see, and something we'll have to follow in the coming days.
That'll be cool to see how y'all decide to split that. That's awesome to hear about the participation.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Grow the brand.
Yeah, and I think the charity stream went really well, and usually we get a lot of people that are find us from those. So usually about this time of year, we usually have a slight influx of people that we've noticed over since it's been 2 years since it officially went live now.
Nice.
So yeah, that's where making some good progress, and yeah, love to see all the new people coming into either league. But back on track with the rBBL, that's why we're here. Season's 11 already, and starting with the 2001 league, let's go over the results that we have for week 7. So kind of what we do is we just kind of go down the list and talk about each game if there's anything that stood out, or either one way or the other, or surprising win, or someone scored 50 or something. Then we kind of just elaborate as we see it. So the first game for 01 was Pello and his Monsters going to TCA to take on Andrew and the Evil Rays, and this one was a multiplier game, 12 to 12.4. Looks like that was a really good matchup. I don't exactly know what the stats were, but I think it was a really good game.
Yeah, big time divisional win there for Anju to push him over 500 for the first half. Next, we had Loba and myself. Loba came on over to Dirt Yards to take on my Wombats. This is the most runs we've given up. Obviously, Loba at the top of the 01 league, especially in the AL, obviously along with 8 in the NL, but 15 runs on my Wombats, who are built for defense, so that was tough, but we put up a respectable 10, and but Loba stays atop the AL East with this win.
And next up, we got the Pirates going against the Bombers, and Question Monkey takes this one for +7. Bombers not able to beat the AI, and the Pirates get another win. I believe that is their third on the season.
Next, we had Schwilly taking on Freak Show. Schwilly hosting Freak Show at his home of Steel. And Schwilly finishes the first half on a 4-game winning streak, beating the division leader here in Freak Show. And this is a huge divisional win for him. And he continues to roll. So Schwilly, that prowess that he brought over from the online, maybe starting to catch some steam. So curious to see how his second half goes.
Yeah, it seems like Schwilly, ever since he went on the proper scum that wasn't the bad one that was getting all the weird shenanigans on it, that he started to perform a lot better, which makes a lot of sense. And next up, we have the Fishes and the Blue Jays. This was a really, really close divisional matchup as well between Slim and Magnitude. And Slim takes this one 9-7 Schlim winning definitely helps my beginning of the season prediction of having Schlim versus Crazy World Series.
Yep, still in play.
Yep.
Next, we had your game, Nate. You traveled to what looks like Cement to take on Toast Rockies in another divisional matchup. And in what looks to be a heartbreaker, Toast wins on the aggregate here, 8.4-8. And that's a tough loss, man. Any thoughts on that game?
I actually was, since I've been having a hard time scoring with this team, I was actually like kind of happy with my score that I put up, but it just turned out to be a pain loss.
What happened?
I feel like the last couple weeks I've started to kind of have a better rhythm with this team, so maybe we can go on a second half run.
Well, we're all harnessing second half Chris for the second half. I know I am.
Yes. Facts. Yeah, and then, that was me. So, the next game we have the Giants and the Orioles. Low scoring game, but Mav was not able to score enough runs, only putting a +1, and the Giants escaped this one.
Yeah, Mav, his start to the year was so hot, and it has just not been. I think he started 3-0, so him and Schwilly having kind of bizarro seasons here. Tough to see for Mav and Pablo Sanchez. But next we had a huge divisional matchup in Eights and Personizzle. Eights traveling to Parks Department number 2 to face Personizzle's Reds. And this game definitely did not disappoint. These two teams obviously atop the NL East, and Eights comes out on top 20-19, takes sole possession of first place in the NL East going into the All-Star break. So, I mean, if you're Personizzle, you can't hang your hat too much. That's a really good output and just a really good game against a proven Brewers team.
Yeah, and that game was match of the week, and that was one of the better match of the weeks that we've seen since in the seasons that we've been doing that. So if you didn't get a chance to see that live, make sure you checked it out. It was a really amazing ending to that game. I'm not gonna spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it was pretty amazing to watch that live, and Mel did an excellent job commentating.
That game is what rBBL is about.
Yeah, you heard it here. Go check it out.
What did you think about that game, Bobby?
It was, I'll try not to spoil much, but like just an absolute offensive battle. Just pure excitement. I know a lot of people, and this is going to be my spicy take here. I know a lot of people hate Parks, but you can't deny it. It provides entertainment. And I just, that game was just so crazy to like actually, watch like in real time.
And yeah, speaking of you next game we had your Angels going to against the Athletics, and you won that game 12-1. Do you remember kind of what was working well for you in this one?
Yeah, I actually put up 16 runs. It's just, in addition to my AI defense being horrible, my user defense is also really rough. So I gave up some runs. Thankfully, it didn't actually matter. There was a situation that I told you about, and I ran it by Crazy, and thankfully he didn't see an issue with it, where like I sort of kind of almost like it was a questionable strikeout, intentional or not, but we cleared that up. But no, I mean, these last 2 weeks, I think, I don't know if it just being 0-5 like kind of just took all the pressure off of me with this team, and I've just been playing very loose. And I think I put up like just taking out, obviously what goes on with like, getting the final score. I think I put my most runs out these past 2 weeks. So just really, I think also Betty Houston just being an absolute menace, like 6 home runs these last 2 weeks has helped a lot as well. just hitting the long ball, and that's really our hope. We just gotta take advantage of our big bats, and maybe we can make things a little interesting. I'm not gonna say we're gonna make the playoffs, but just the fact that we're putting the ball over the fence is really helping.
It sounds like Yuria gave you the all the tips about hitting with them.
No, I haven't spoken to him on it actually. Just I don't even know what happened. Like Betty just had that like stupid 4 home run game against the Melonheads. Like it was like, and for the people that actually watch that stream, I'm like, there's no way she's gonna hit a home run, right? And then she hits a home run, and then I'm like, again, she comes up to bat. Like I think it was the second home run I started saying like there's no way she's going to hit another one. And then she hit one. And I'm like, there's no way she's going to do it again. Then she hit a third one. There's no way it could, and then a fourth one. I'm just like, what in the world's going on here?
Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans. Yuria must have told you something.
Yeah, I need y'all to tell me. You guys got to tell me how to hit with them.
I did not speak to him about this. Like, and if anything, if anything, Yuria's mad at me for taking Sally Dobbs from him in 03. So.
Yeah, we're going to have to hook you up to the polygraph. We're not buying this, especially Nate and I. Nate and I, we investigate these things very seriously when it comes to the Angela claims.
Well, feel free. I'm not trying to hide anything.
We're going to have to put Yuri on administrative leave until we figure this out.
I mean, he's not the commissioner anymore, so to him, it's like...
Yep, he's going to go. He's got to go. Nate and I have shared trauma.
Yeah.
We've trauma bonded over Bobby Bullgreen.
Yeah. I literally did not take Bobby Bullgreen because I didn't want Nate to be upset.
Well, I have him. It's almost like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I was like, I'm going to make sure this dude hits 0 on the year. I'm going to strike out on purpose every time.
I'm convinced that my last 2 games somehow got Betty Houston to be our all-star because like she has 10 home runs on the year, and I don't even know how that happened.
Well, when you hit 4 in one game, that helps.
Yep,
it definitely does.
But glad to see you get off the schneid there with those Angels. I know how that feeling's tough. So,
yes, sir.
On to our next matchup. All good things must come to an end, and we saw the pair of Pink Sox that had been playing concurrently all year and finishing very similarly have to play each other, and it wasn't as close as it would have been more poetic if this was like a one-run game, but Visery takes this one over Willigan 11-6 in the Battle of the Pink Sox on the road. So this takes control of the NL Central with this one. But we'll see if the Sox continue to perform similarly in the second half.
Imagine it was a tie.
It should have been. Like they should have just done what Jomar did that year. He scored like 70 or gave up 70 runs to the AI. Like they should have just cheated just to tie, just for the memes.
Well, what they could do is now have the Willigan in the second matchup needs to win.
Yeah,
but he has
11-6.
He has to win the
yes.
Yeah, he has to win it exactly. Just for balance purposes, he has to win it exactly 11-6.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, that would be crazy, but love to see it.
On another note, I really I hope Visery does stay around. I know he's dealing with stuff, and obviously that's more important. But I hope he can stick around for the second half of the season.
Same. Vis, we love you.
Yeah, Visery does so much for the backyard baseball community as a whole, and I know a lot of times it's hard to verbalize or communicate of everything that all the our appreciation for everything that they do, but just that even if it's not always said, that we always appreciate everything that you've done, both behind the scenes and with both of the leagues. Next up, we had the Melonheads and the Hornets, and HC takes this one 9-1. HC finishing the second half strong, I believe, going on a 5-game winning streak up to this point.
I think you're right.
Him being 5-2 and me barely losing that game by 2 runs has me really upset.
He's definitely come on strong. And then our last matchup of week 7 in 01 was Lil Waz hosting P. Sanchez. And this is a divisional matchup. Lil Waz takes this one 9-7 at Ekman. And this division is going to shake out really interesting. This is 3 pretty hot teams. P. Sanchez has been a little up and down, but proven. And I'm really interested to see how this division shakes out with those 3 all at the top. Obviously, P. Sanchez 1 game back, but really, really excited to see how that one shakes out.
So that does it for week 7. Kind of now, let's take a look at kind of what the current standings are for the 01 league and kind of give our thoughts of kind of what's been going on for the first half, kind of as a whole. So we got the AO West, all the teams that are kind of average or worse. You got Slim and Toast tied at 4-3. I don't know what the tiebreakers are off the top of my head.
If I'm not mistaken, Nate, I know Crazy was telling me yesterday when I kind of did that, those like if the playoffs started today thing. He said that the wild card was not like the sheet wasn't calculated to like do it exactly, so it could be, inconsistent. I don't know about the divisions, but I kind of looked and I think that might be accurate. You know what I'm saying? I think it might be accurate. I mean, I could just take a quick look, at the who had.
It does look like the Blue Jays beat the Rockies in week 4.
Well, okay, if they played once, then there you go. They are first then in the division.
No, when they play again. No, yep, they play again in week 11. So that is accurate.
That's accurate.
So Slim is winning the division. I don't know if he was expecting that going into the season or not, but Slim and Toast and Matt are all kind of in the thick of things. I'm kind of...
You're right there.
I don't know about right there.
I mean, you're 2 games back, but I mean, in terms of in league success, other than Schlim winning the first rBBL title, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you've had the most success to this point. So, and again, any comment I make on anybody, just, teams or whatnot, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, just observations. But I mean, you definitely seem to be the most successful coach outside of Schlim, from the first season. So, I mean, who's to say you can't make a run, a couple of lucky things go your way and, we could be having a totally different conversation in about 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, second half Chris is with us.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, that is very true. You never know. But gotta hold if I'm not doing good, gotta be on Slim's bandwagon because we need the Slim versus Crazy World Series.
Just eat a plate of crab before you play your 01 games and you'll win.
That's an expensive weekly meal, Bobby.
You think I can afford that?
We'll approve simulated crab.
Yeah, imitation crab.
Yeah, we'll approve that.
Well, if I'm gonna start having plate of crab before I have my 01 game, I think we're gonna need some sponsors for the podcast.
Of imitation crab or I don't know. I don't even know any brands or anything. I don't even know there's crab brands.
You just get it at well, you guys probably don't have Homeland, but whatever your local supermarket is, just get the imitations cheap.
Yeah.
But if it's real crab, it just need a sponsor so I can afford it.
I think you need Red Lobster to sponsor you.
Oh, there you go.
For real.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, baby.
Oh man.
Ooh,
Sandy
I would love-
Flats, Cheddar Bay biscuits and crab.
Ooh,
For
that
real.
sounds good.
Maybe if the rBBL gets successful enough, you can have like a Sandy Flats meal at Red Lobster, like named in honor of it.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
Hey, Nate, I was thinking about Patreon prizes, and I don't know what the cost would be, but I think we got to do shirts at some point because you could have like a that's cheese with like a cheese wedge on it. You could have second half Chris with the Fishes logo. You could have like I'm the King or the King, just like with a picture of Ivan. Baby baseball. Like, there's a lot of like inside rBBL jokes. I feel like you could put on a T-shirt.
I don't know if we could technically do blue back.
Yeah.
I think that would be I like to think that would be pretty cool, but I just don't know like how expensive it is to like make like a single custom shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think if you were trying to gonna do that, I think that would be like, okay, we set up the merch stores thing.
Yeah, exactly. A store. Yeah. You just need like 3 or 4. I feel like those are all good,
I actually do have a couple, since you didn't mention the Patreon, there's a couple t-shirts that I did find, and since the Patreon is gonna be the first ones to hear this, so one of the prizes for, since I didn't do it last month, they're gonna do two drawings for it. One will be the Pablo Sanchez goat t-shirt. I don't know if you saw that, Wizard. I know Crazy has one. I have one.
I have one.
So
too.
that's just an epic one. I don't remember exactly where the link is, but I'll find that. So that'll be for one of them, and I think there was a Melonheads t-shirt, and then a couple of those like stickers that Jivo from the link that Jivo sent me. So that'll be the other one. So those two will be the prizes for September and October, and then we'll have to figure out something for moving forward. But I think eventually having a merch store would be pretty cool, but that's just a lot of work to set up at this point.
Yeah, true.
But it's kind of like in the back of our mind, would be really cool to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone else has any suggestions for possible prizes, let me know. But if you want to be entered for the prizes for each month, you got to subscribe. You got to be a premium subscriber to the Patreon. Otherwise, you'll miss out on all the awesome prizes that we'll have every month.
Mm-hmm.
But enough about that.
AL Central's next.
Yes, AL Central. So we have Freak Show sitting atop this at 5-2. Schwilly coming in strong at 4-3 on his 4-game winning streak and coming off a Week 7 victory against Freak Show. We got Question Monkey in the mix here at 3-4. 1 game back of the wild card, 2 games back of the division, and then Silver Bullet at 1-6, sitting in 4th there. A lot of parity possibility with this division too.
But yeah, the defending champs are top, but Schwilly's right on his heels. So Freak Show's gonna have to, tread very carefully, going forward. He's, a proven coach, though. I mean, you don't underestimate the heart of a champion. But he does seem to have a very worthy adversary in Schwilly, and you can't count out Question Monkey. I mean, he's only out 2 out, and so he's definitely got his work cut out for him. But you gotta assume that he's going to put up a good effort regardless of what happens the second half.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think and also Schwilly now has as of right now has the tiebreaker over Freak Show, so that's something to take into consideration as we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very huge. It's almost like he's only half a game behind, not really one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and SB, hang in there. We know you're going to get a couple more wins this season.
Fan favorite SB, my guy.
Oh, yeah. One of the best personalities we have.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, SB is also one of the only people that people request selfies of.
Yes.
I was just gonna say we love a good 4 or 5 drinking red faced SB selfie.
Silver's a real big wrestling fan, so what do you call it? I'm just gonna, if by off chance he happens to listen, uh, I'm just gonna reference like something that he'll understand. SB, yeah. Okay, that was a
Love it.
reference.
I don't get the reference, but I hope he does.
He will.
So yeah, next up we got the AL East. Loba leading this division by 2 games over Andrew and Wizard, and then Cello taking up at 2-5. I still do not understand how Cello is 2-5. That just does not make sense to me with that team. But yeah, Loba's doing really well, and looks like it's, as of right now, just going to be a fight for second between you and Andrew, Wiz.
Come on, man. It's only 2 games back.
I just realized, Nate, you're the one team that beat the Marlins.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Week 6.
That in of itself should be a confidence booster to you that maybe, you can make a run. I mean,
I don't know if that's a confidence boost. It was more just kind of like a meme, like a good blue bat meme.
I mean, a win is a win is a win. However it happens, I mean, you beat 1A or 1B in all of 01. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hope we're gonna need at least 4 or 5 more blue bat wins in 01.
well, I mean, you win like I really almost asked how many games were in the second half, but you win even 5 games and you're arguably already in the wild card race because I'm pretty sure there's going to be there's a good chance a 7-win team can make it in.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, Loba's killing it. I mean, 6-1. I mean, and that division's not bad, and Cello's, I mean, he's 2-5, but he could also make a run with that team. You never know. With the wild card being the way it is now, there is no bad team in that division, in my opinion.
Should be fun. Fun finish.
Yeah, currently, as of right now, there's 4 teams with 4-3 records that are. I don't know which one would have the tiebreaker necessarily, but it's going to be 3 of Toast, Swilly, Andrew, and you is. So those 4 teams are. I don't know what the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I beat Anju. I beat him, so I don't know.
Yeah, so then if that's the case, you should actually be the 6th seed, not Andrew. But again, the sheet, I think, yeah, Crazy was telling me it doesn't exactly get the calculation right.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the 4-way tiebreaker is.
Well,
I want it
I'm
just
looking.
for all the. I want it just for all the chaos.
Yeah, well, you gotta love the chaos because he beat Schwilly.
Wait, Angie beat Philly?
Yeah, week 1. Schwilly lost 3 in
Yes.
a row. He beat Schwilly and Toast, who both beat me. So I don't know if that matters.
So then, like, I would think just Angie should actually be the 5th seed. You would probably be the 4th, and you haven't played the Rockies or Devil Rays.
Well, Schwilly beat me, and Toast beat me.
Yeah, it's too much for me to even try to, like, off the cuff to try to calculate in my head. Like, I would need to write it out. And
It's probably right, honestly.
maybe, but I know Crazy said it wasn't reliable. Like, he didn't completely say I was wrong when I did the, like, just off the cuff, like last night, but he did say that it's like kind of like not reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it won't matter this exact moment won't matter in 7 weeks, so.
Yeah, true.
But who knows? He might have a 4-way tie for 3 spots.
Yeah.
Would be very interesting.
It will be.
Nate, is there a possibility for a play-in game for the playoffs?
Yes. There's always a possibility for
So that actually is a
tiebreaker
thing.
games.
Okay, I'm just curious. I now that I remember, I think I've read in the wiki there was a tiebreaker game before, but that would
Yeah, we've
be
seen
pretty
it
cool.
once,
Also,
right? I think we've had it once. Was it season 9, Nate?
I don't remember, but I know like when
I think
I
there's
want to say we've
definitely
had it once.
if you've ever noticed when Crazy puts out his like as it like we get to like the last couple weeks of the season, like his possibilities and probabilities sheet, and some of those say like tiebreaker or whatever, like 5-way tiebreaker or something. So there is a possibility of having
Yeah.
tiebreaker games.
I'm willing to venture that now that there is 6 playoff spots, that there will be a tiebreaker game. Like that's going to be my bold prediction. Because there's just too many. Like I'm seeing too many 4-3s and 3-4s that I just feel like there's going to be at least one tiebreaker game between 01 and 03. That's going to be my bold prediction. Maybe not so bold, but
Oh, I would love to see that.
oh, of course, more baseball.
Yep.
And hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it. I don't know if I would like to be the person that's in the tiebreaker game.
No, hell no.
If you told me right now, my Blue Angels were going to be in the tiebreaker game, I'd take it all day.
Well, that's fair.
I guess I would take that too for my 01
It's a matter
team.
of perspective.
If you told me for my 03 team, I think I'd have a panic attack.
If you told me my 03 team was going to collapse and choke, and then we'd be relying on a play-in game, then I would have a fit.
That's fair.
Yeah, so moving on to the National League. We got the National League West. This is the big division in the National League. We got the Hornets and the Expos at 5-2, followed by the Royals at 4-3, and the Mighty Melonheads at 2-5. So I think all three of the top teams are probably going to make the playoffs, just how everything is looking right now. Or there's definitely a good chance that at least 2 of the 3 make it.
Given the way the Royals embarrassed me in week 1, I would have figured that they were like the top team in like all of baseball. That was like the most humbling loss I've ever had, other than maybe Viscery last year destroying me. Actually, it was season.
Well, they were the top team in 2015.
Yeah, they were.
No, but like, yeah, this division, high C. I want to say, I always want to say high C. I don't know if it's HC triple I. Is there a way to pronounce it?
Or I always thought HC3, but I think high C is sick. I love when people come up with little nicknames. Like that's how nicknames happen. I
Well,
say
well,
call him high C. I call. Go ahead.
I don't want to insult him either, so I'm just gonna say HC. But in my mind, I'm always wanting to say high C.
Hey, I call Scott Egbert Dr. Eggman on this podcast. So like, you call him what you want, man.
I'm just gonna call him HC, but I know he's I think he's gotten into a groove with Parker, if I'm not mistaken. And funny enough, we almost had a 3-team trade where I would have landed Parker. So it's kind of crazy how those things work, where you're kind of willing to trade somebody, then you don't, and they perform. So he's, I don't know if him and the Expos played already, so I don't know if he's actually first. At the end of the day, they're tied. Little Waz is always, he's proven ever since he's gotten into this league that he's very capable of popping off. P. Sanchez is experienced in this league as well. Halo, I think, even had like a nice win against an elite team, so you can't count him out.
Week 6, I think, right?
He beat somebody that kind of like raised eyebrows.
P. Sanchez week 4. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you really can't. I can't say that you can count anybody out here. I mean, for all you know, maybe Halo goes on a run and 4 teams somehow make the playoffs. I suppose that's technically possible.
Well, even though the Melonheads are last in the division, their PR team is top of the league.
Top.
Oh, for sure. That Sports Illustrated cover he did at the beginning of the season was hilarious.
All right, and so yeah, that'll be definitely an interesting, really kind of anyone's division to win there. Obviously, Halo being 3 games back, but maybe make some noise for the wild card. So next we got really the Pink Sock division that Bobby also plays in. Pink Sox are not tied at the top, but 4-3 and 3-4 respectively. Bobby 2 games out of the wild card and division there in third. Martian Man bringing up the rear at 0-7 with those Philadelphia Athletics. Shout out Nick Foles. So really, kind of still anyone's division. Obviously, looks like what seems to be a 3-team race, but really up for grabs still there.
This is going to be my bold prediction: is that we're going to have a three-way tie at 7-7 for the division.
Don't do that to me, man.
Four-way tie at 7-7.
Don't do that to me, man. Like, that's a lot of pressure. But like, in all seriousness, I think this is gonna sound very stupid, but I've kind of convinced myself that going grounder with Marcellus at home leadoff is the way to go. Like, to start the game, because for some reason I'm just not hitting power well with him. Like, I'm just getting under the ball and I'm getting super frustrating outs. And I feel like the only way to be productive offensively is to get him on base, get Stewart on, get to my third batter with no outs, and drive him in. Like, I feel like that's the only way. And then the only time I should swing power with Marcellus almost is like if the bottom of the order gets on. Like, that just feels like it's the way to go right now, because Marcellus, for whatever reason, I'm just not hitting as well as I have historically done in side seasons with him. And I mean, my schedule, like, my schedule, I think I got the worst part probably out of the way. And the thing is, too, like, other than maybe week 1, and then I forgot who else beat me down super bad. Somebody beat me up like real bad other than the Royals. I forget who it was. I think it was week 4. Yeah, the White Sox destroyed me. But like, I haven't put up bad scores at all. Like I think my lowest run total was 9. So it's not like it's just, and I think even like in the team stats, I have like, I'm one of the better offenses in the league in 01. It's just that my defense is so atrocious. So like, if I can like it's almost like I have to score 15 runs to even have a shot, which I'm very capable of doing at home. I think it's just, it depends where the road games are. Cause like week 8, I'm home. Week 9, I have to go to Ekman, and like I have PTSD of playing Mab at Ekman from the consolation tournament in the past. So like that's already like a don't expect me to win that game. Then I get the best team, well, either 1A or 1B, Crazy. I do get him at home, but I just know Crazy's going to probably drop like 50 on me. I get Dirt Yards, which I can score there, I think. Then I get Parks again week 12. Week 13, I get TCA, which I'm experienced playing there now with my 03 team. And then I get home again. So like, the only bad field that's not conducive to my team is probably in week 9. I could see myself, like, if I like am like completely on my game, like if everything goes perfect, I could go 5-2.
Yeah.
But it would have to be perfect. And I just don't know, like, and Viscery too, you gotta understand, like, if he's gonna play, like, that also factors into everything. Like, we don't know if he's gonna decide to come back, or, and we don't know because, maybe, what's going on in his life is affecting his play. So we don't know what Viscery we're gonna get, and we don't know which one, is going to, if he's even gonna play. So there's a lot of variables here. I would say that I'm probably not going to compete for the division here. I would say that the both Pink Sox, Viscery and Willigan, are the clear favorites here. And, I think it's just between them, and it would just be so fitting for them to finish with a tie. Like I just think that has to happen. Like we need to tell Crazy to write that in the script
Hmm.
because we know that it's the worst kept secret that Crazy's writing the script for everyone. That's why
Of course.
he scripted me. He scripted me trading Mark McGuire to him.
Well, I think you might be right on the 0-3 side, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh,
I
that's low.
think your point about Marcellus, I completely agree with. I had him one season and hit him lead off, and I never hit power with him, and I'm not a big grounder ball person, so I hit line drive with him. But I think I found the same thing. I just could not
And
find success. So when the hidden stats came out, I was shocked to find out how good his power bat actually was because I just don't feel it. I think he's
it has to be timing because, like, I'm telling you, like in side seasons when I was literally planning, my 01, like just practice, I was
mhm,
mashing with him. Like I was getting like over 700 with him in leadoffs and hitting power too. And I don't know
mhm,
what went wrong, like where like now all of a sudden I just can't connect with him like correctly. I don't know if I'm
mhm.
like so excited, like when I see a meatball that I just like I either swing too early or too late. Maybe that's it because now the games matter. But like I'm not hitting well with him power. So I'm just trying to get him on base because Middleton and Zenon are really, you know, are doing a number power wise.
Yeah,
And they just put the ball in play. And like I would swing liner with Marcellus and I'm sure I'd have better success. The only issue is that with Parks being so small and not having the greatest
mhm.
like outfield, that could very easily be like, a quick,
Right.
you know,
Somebody.
it could quickly go into somebody's glove. And I just rather get him on base because he's got the speed to grounder ball. So that's kind of just how I'm rationalizing it in my head.
I think you also make a good point of like Samuel Middleton and Zenon are having success. And I found this one year I had, or two back to back years I had Randy Uno. One year I needed her to play a certain role in my lineup, my batting lineup. And then the next year I needed her to be a quasi power bat. So I think he has a role that you need him to play, and he has the ability to swing line drive and drive in runs if the bottom half gets on. But I think you're using him in that speed role, and I think that's okay. I think you're kind of hitting it on the head with just how you need to use him, and making that adjustment might be big time.
I'm hoping. I mean, I think I'm going to score runs. It's just how badly are my opponents going to abuse my defense because it is. I'll be the first to admit it is extremely exploitable. So, I mean, not that at Parks, I mean, there's really almost no defense you can field at Parks that's going to keep the ball, I mean, you just hit the ball over the fence. It doesn't matter. You could have the best defense ever constructed. But like on the road, that it'll matter more.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting. But that division, I think it's going to be one of the Pink Sox. And, I'll just keep trying to compete. I'll be trying to upset teams in the second half and just have fun with this team. I kind of like to think of it as my batting practice.
Hmm.
And the last division we got was speaking of crazy, definitely writing that script really well. That's 6-1 and then Personizzle at 5-2. Those two look like they're the cream of the crop on this division. And then at the end we got a tie between Hines and Mav. I really want Mav to make the playoffs. That's kind of my like fan pick.
I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll bounce back.
I really want Mav to make the playoffs.
Same.
Because knowing Mav, he's super good at constructing rosters. And I think just those extra playoff spots, I think he's going to find a way in. And I think he's going to be a hard out because, again, the rosters, like, he's very good at constructing rosters. I think he's just had some horrible luck. And I think in rBBL, you do need some luck because there's a lot of variables that just aren't in your control. And I just, that's one of my predictions. I think he's going to find a way in, and I think he's going to be a hard out with regardless of who faces him.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's just because in the National League, you got the three teams that are, there's going to be at least two teams from the NL West that are going to be in the wild card, and then whoever does not win the NL East is going to be in the mix. So that's three teams right there. So it's going to be hard to knock out one of those three teams.
You know what? I didn't think of that on face value because I have a hard time seeing the Reds or the Expos falling out. So that really only leaves one spot that is up for grabs there.
So yeah, it's going to be really hard to make the NL wild card. But go Orioles, go Mav, rooting for you.
Dr. Professor Mav.
Is there anything else about the 01 League, or is that think that's does it for me?
Actually, I have something that I found very interesting with the NL East.
Oh, okay.
So, week 14, mark this down. Reds at Brewers at Steel. That might be a huge game.
Ooh.
Depending on where they shake out, if they're within a game and they split the season series, we're going to have to go to head-to-head matchups. So that could very well be for the division, just depending on how the rest of the season goes for both of these coaches.
So that means we need the Reds to win and then a tiebreaker game.
That's it. Then we get it.
Yeah, I mean, very possible. And I mean, it also, you kind of even, I mean, can't really even particularly count out Hines, I suppose. Well, no, you can't. I mean, it's 2 games, so the Reds still have to worry about the Giants on their tail and the Orioles. So they've really got to, hope to even be in a position to challenge the Brewers in Week 14. And it could still matter because depending on, Loba, where he ends up, this could be for the 1 seed too. Like if Crazy can't take care of business at home, against the Reds and the Reds get him back, I mean, that could cost him the 1 seed.
Well, Loba and Crazy are in different leagues, so it would be for I guess it would be for home field advantage in the World Series.
Oh, wait, well, okay, I don't know why
Possibly.
Okay, that's why. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's a lot more of a reach, but I mean, well, the Crazy Hornets, if they keep their play up too, that could, or Expos, there's a lot of baseball to be played, so we can't assume that the Brewers are going to be 13-1. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the second half that can happen for sure.
Or 12-1 going into Week 14, for that matter.
Sadly, that's true, because usually I'm the one getting upset.
There's almost always an upset.
Except I guess on 01, I was the one doing the upset, so I guess that's not always true. Wizard, you got anything else for 01?
Nope, think we covered it.
So moving on to the 2003 league. Moving on, let's look at the results from week 7. Got the Royals going against the Melonheads, and the Royals and Alex take this one +18 to +4. That's a really, really good score for the Royals there.
Yeah, definitely good Monarch score there for Alex. Next, we had Lilwaz taking on Uria in another divisional matchup. Uria takes care of Lilwaz here, 18-10 at home, and that puts all 3 of those teams tied for the top of the division in the Front Yard East. So definitely a good, strong first half for all 3 of those teams in Alex, Lilwaz, and Uria.
I'd just like to point out, Nate, that you can corroborate this, I'm pretty sure, but when Uria was 0-2, I told you I had a feeling he was going to bounce back.
I think I remember you saying something like that.
I just had a feeling. The roster was too good and it was too well built for that field. Top 3 could very easily, it's going to be really like interesting down the stretch to see who comes out the winner of that division. But like in a weird twist of fate, the winner of that division still may not even be the best like all around team in my opinion, just because of the way rBBL functions and whatnot, and just how upsets are. Like it's that like they're all just super good. Like I really like all of those teams, and I actually have to play the Royals and the Expos in the second half, and I have to go travel to go play Alex, and I don't think he's lost a game at home yet. So going to be very interesting, and I actually look forward to playing both of those guys to see where I stand.
Yeah, and also I think what is it? Yeah, Markey somehow has 5 homers on the season already.
Well, he's a lot more successful with him batting than I was. I'll tell you that.
It's a lot more successful than literally anyone in the history of rBBL of Markey, as far as homers anyway.
The season of Dubois, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to be getting those home runs at home, right?
No, not all of them.
What? Because like it's impressive even at home with the boost, because like Dubois not friendly to home runs.
I know he hit 1 at 30 yards.
Sheesh, man. Like we need to get some PED testing on Markey.
I don't know. Maybe there's some frog juice or something that he's on.
Oh, also, I want to say I think Chico's like my way too early MVP, just based off of some stats I had seen from him. Like I think he's like hitting like almost 800 if I'm not mistaken, like some crazy number.
Who has Chico
So,
in 03?
shout out to Little Waz for that. Little Waz. That's why I bring it up, because I want to say he's hitting some ridiculous number with him. And I mean, I haven't.
Oh yeah, and that was actually the next game was the Expos and the Monsters, and Uriah took this one a +18 to a +10.
Yeah, good solid win at home for him.
793.
Yeah, that's just insane. Even for Chico, like, and 13 home runs to boot, like that is some superstar stuff right there.
And Bobby, why don't you talk about your game from week 7?
You know, going into that game, so I was concerned with that game actually, because like I don't think I like those cement fields that aren't TCA, because they kind of like they've got a really vast outfield that just, I seem to have terrible luck in. And he has Henri in center. He's got Henri in center, and then he's got in his left field, he has Star, who I know for a fact, just Stewart, the way he pestered not crazy, Chris earlier on in the year, and then he's got Tipton. So like he's got some speed there. So I knew like, okay, like just depending on how the AI feels today, they're either going to catch a lot or they're going to drop things. Thankfully, like for some reason, just it was a walk fest and they walked me so many times. So that really contributed to me dropping 19. But I will say credit to CRK, because he did get 9 runs. He got 9 runs in the game. And I think outside of TCA, that's like the best score anyone's put on my defense. So, I mean, I know he's not he seems to really like kind of talk down his team, and I don't think it's bad at all. Like, I mean, defensively, the infield's a little rough. You can kind of exploit it, but I don't think collectively it's bad at all. And I still think he can very much compete for a playoff spot. But that's what stuck out to me. A lot of it was just the simple fact that the AI pitching was helping me out a lot.
Next up, we had P. Sanchez and his Hornets traveling to take on Toast Twins in another divisional matchup. P. Sanchez takes this one 12-7. Toast have more success with his 0-1 Rockies than his tried and true Twins this season, sitting at 2-5 at the bottom of that division. But P. Sanchez big time win here. Takes this one 12-7 at Parks Department number 2.
Yeah, he the Twins kind of, being where they're at's kind of surprising, but a lot of season left. I'll say that P. Sanchez's roster scares me. I know he apparently he's not a fan of the offensively trying to grind out runs, but when I faced him, his defense, that was a very hard 12 runs to score. I think Keisha Short's pretty unfair. He's got a good defense there, so he's him along with just really all those wild card teams in the front yard look super. I mean, and again, this isn't exactly an exact science, but on the spreadsheet anyway, it shows the Royals, Expos, and Hornets there, and if they get in, all of those teams are capable of winning a title.
Yeah, next up we have the Cardinals and the Fishes, and I know we were kind of joking about second half Chris, and he's actually been doing really well in the first half, so if he pulls up a second half Chris run, watch out, the Fishes are fighting for sure. Win this one 13-3, and that put him at 5-2 going into the second half.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised given Reese is at third base. How well, I don't want to say I thought this team is bad at all because I didn't, but just having Reese at third is kind of crazy. But it also helps having Jeter and A-Rod. That's almost certainly guarantees a competent defense. So Chris is doing fantastic. I think as it stands right now, he would be the second seed because he did beat Uria. So he's positioned himself very well, and he's got a 2-game lead in his division. So it'll be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, the World Series is going to be the fishbowl.
Maybe, you never know.
It's gonna be the memes, the meme matchups on both sides.
If Crazy scripts it that way.
Next, we had Visory's Phillies traveling to Paveway to take on Shrews Padres. Shrews gets his second win of the season to end the first half, beating Viz's Phillies 8-0. Viz's team takes this one in extras, but a +0 there. So good second win for Shrewsbury, and pain game there for Viz.
So next up we have the Wombats going against the Yankees. Marco taking this one with a +8. It does look like that the Yankees did beat the AI, but it looks like they had a 5-run penalty, which resulted in a -3.
It's the season of Marco. He's inevitable.
Yes. Next, we had another divisional game here in the Backyard East. JY's Mariners came to Sandy to take on my Rangers. JY with a +8 here takes this one 8-5 against my Rangers. JY finishing the half 6-1 and standing alone atop the Backyard East.
Wiz, is in your honest opinion, do you think if you squeeze out a little bit of more offense that you can make a run here? Because I tend to think that even a team that's uberly defensive, I think so long as you find a way to grind out enough offense, even if it's 8 runs a game, I think you've got a shot.
Honestly, this yes, I do, and like I said, I've been very frustrated because I have all of my losses are 3 runs or less. I have 2 multiplier losses to the Orioles and to Pepsi, and I lost by 1 to Anjou. So there's some games that in my opinion I should have won, especially given my opponent. But I also got lucky and won a game 0 to -6 against ZR Bucks. But yes, all of my losses have been close, and so I think just more consistent offense. We lost by 2 to 8s. And so really it's just I haven't found a really good feel for this team, and so I'm hoping that I enjoy playing in the second half a little more. I still love this game, but it has felt a bit more like a chore this season, and never a good feeling. And I'm not going anywhere, but I'm hoping to kind of get some of that charm back for the second half and at least just make some noise. I have a pretty favorable second half schedule outside of a couple games, 3 or 4 games, 4 games that I think I for sure should win. And then if I can sneak one from an Itanium or a Nate, I think that or a JY, I think that we can make a playoff run.
Yeah, 7 wins can definitely potentially, get you in.
Yeah, I think like I said, if we can sneak one out of Nate, JY, or Itanium, the other games are all winnable. We should win. We've already beat Zorbox and Marco. We have Mike and we have Cherry.
Best of luck. I mean, hope again,
Appreciate it.
like I said, I'm kind of hoping you make a run so that the Astros get some sort of, in some universe, they beat the Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, one game at a time.
For sure.
Yeah, now next up we have the Angels and the Blue Jays divisional matchup in this one, and Mike pulls off the upset, +12 to +4. I think that's one of Mike's better games, at least offensively, in his rBBL career, so it was a really good win for him.
Yep. Next we had, yeah, agreed. Next we had the Arms, Eights and his Arms taking on your Brewers, Nate, and this one just a defensive struggle, and Eights comes out on top 3-2 at home at Ekman. Nate, any thoughts on this game?
Curse you, power-ups.
Yep.
That's what I had an okay offensive game, and I was actually winning. I just had to close out the AI, and they had 3 crazy bunts, and then they scored like 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th, or something like that.
You do see the problem with that, right? How scripted it is that they were crazy bunts.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to say this, but you kind of have a joke that you always say, and I'm not going to say it, but I think you know what I'm hinting at.
I don't, but you can tell me off the record.
Yeah, it's a little.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, now I.
It's
now
a little
I know,
too
but,
not.
Yeah, I get it now. Now I understand. But honestly, this just seems like, I mean, if I didn't know that power up shenanigans happened, like this would have just looked like the Ekman game of all time. Like I can't stand that field. I hate it with the power of 1,000 suns. Like that field just is where offense dies. I just like, I'm not a proponent of banning fields, but like I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be ecstatic if we got rid of that field. But of course I'm not gonna go out, campaigning for that.
I don't mind Ekman, especially since I had one of the best Ekman teams of all time in season 9. So if you can do well there if you build your team right. It's the only thing is that typically if you build a team that's good for Ekman, they're not good other places. That's kind of the downfall that you get there. It's hard to build a team that's good for Ekman and good at kind of in general. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get some revenge in week 14.
Yep.
It might be a big game.
I hope it's not a big game. I hope it's meaningless. It doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
And next up we have the Devil Rays against the Ducks, and looks like Cherry takes this one +7 to -2. I don't know what's happened there, but sounds like the Ducks were silenced with all their quacking. Not much quacking going on in this one.
They're flying.
I just wish I wish I had Jibbo's attitude and outlook on playing this game. I think everybody could benefit from having Jibbo's outlook on having, he just has fun, and
yeah,
he has fun, and what'll be will be.
It's child wonderment. He plays the game how it's intended to be played.
Oh, for sure.
Last matchup of the week, we had Itanium's Giants taking on Pepsi's D-backs in a divisional matchup and battle for first in the Backyard West. Itanium really puts his foot down with a 42-run output on the road here at Paveway, it looks like. I can never tell the difference. I think that's cement. Pepsi with a really respectable 21 runs, but not enough to get it done here at home. And so Itanium ties up the division here. Both teams finishing 5-2 in the first half, and huge performance from both, but big time win there from Itanium on the road.
Yeah, IT just is probably a top 3 to 5, like all time in terms of like offensive output. He just knows how to score the ball. So like any week he can have this kind of performance.
Yeah, for sure. Itanium definitely knows. He definitely drafts offense heavy, but he definitely, when he gets on a roll, can put up a lot of runs.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you that like he definitely sacrificed on defense because, you know, just usually if you allow 21 runs to another team, I would say you have definitely less than a 50% chance of winning. But again, IT is very capable of, you know, just absolutely going nuclear. So for him, it does work.
And that's the week 7 recap. I know we already kind of talked about the Front Yard East and that 3-headed monster. I mean, no pun intended, even though the monsters are one of them. Yeah, I don't know who I would pick to win that division, because that's just, I could see any of them winning that.
Yeah, I just, based off experience, I tend to, and maybe experience really doesn't matter in this league. I tend to lean towards Uria because he has not lost since going 0-2, but I like every single one of these teams that are competing for the, you know, for the division. I really do. And just Little Walls is killing it with Chico. Alex just seems to have some magic going on over there in Du Bois. So it's really not easy to pick a winner here. Like, if, you know, I think all of them are going to end up making the playoffs. It's just, it's like I said, we really might find ourselves in a situation where, like, in a vacuum, the best team may not end up winning the division. And that's not a slight on anybody. It's just that in the rBBL, any week you could have an upset. So, I mean, it could shake out where like the top team is like 11-3, and you get like maybe, I don't know, 2 9-5 teams. But because of the way upsets shake out and things like that, just some craziness. The best team in a vacuum may not win the division. I don't know if I'm making sense, but they're all super good.
Well, it does make sense, because also you could make an argument that having home field advantage in the playoffs is a disadvantage.
Having home field is a disadvantage?
Yes, because you don't have the...
In a low-scoring game, I think that it is a disadvantage, but I think in a high-scoring game, it's an advantage.
Yeah, because I agree with Wizard there, because like for me, I think it was a total disadvantage. Albeit it didn't really matter because I did even worse against Pepsi at Steel. But like just even getting off on the wrong foot, like my offense was horrific as it was. I didn't put up much runs at Du Bois game 1, so like the better performance, like I mean the multiplier, my better chance was in that first game, and I kind of blew it. It's I could see it both ways, but I think you do want. I think even like teams that like where their home field could be exploited by another, like say like somebody that has parks or dirt yards, I think you still want that multiplier to have it, you know, 2 out of 3 times, you know, or 3 out of 5. Well, actually, yeah, 3 out of 5 too if you're in the World Series. Like I think you want to just have that multiplier at your disposal.
So that one should be interesting. Next, we got the Front Yard Central with Bobby, your Astros sitting atop this, obviously undefeated. We saw on the Discord that we had talked about, teams finishing undefeated in the first half. Obviously, congratulations, huge accomplishment. And you got P. Sanchez and CRK right there in the middle at 4-3 and 3-4 respectively, and Toast bringing up the rear at 2-5.
The thing that I love is that there's a few things I like and dislike about being in the position I'm in right now. The things that I love is that I have a win against every single one of my division opponents. So I've got a leg up.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely do not want to say I'm going to win the division because, I know people may look at the thing and they'll be like, oh, well, you're 3 up. And if you've beaten everybody, then you've got an advantage. But I mean, it's just not in me to say, oh, I'm for sure winning the division. That's not cool to me. But I'm happy that I've beaten every one of these, one of my division mates. So I have that leg up. What I don't like is that the fact that I am 7-0, I don't going into the season, my first game, I went into the fire against Viscery, and we all know how good Viscery can be when he's on his game. And just even before the season, just looking at the schedule, I'm like, yo, if I go 2-3 or 3-2, that'll be a blessing. And now I don't have I can't play myself down. I can't be like, oh, well, I don't think I'm going to win that. Cause I'm 7-0 now. So everybody's going to not that I'm not implying that nobody tries, if it's not a good opponent, but now I have to expect everybody's absolute best. So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I'm 7-0. I'm riding high. We're scoring the ball. We're consistently hitting, if I'm not mistaken, every single game we've scored 10 runs in it. So we're scoring the baseball. We're doing what we need to do and our defense is holding. But now I know in the second half we're going to get everybody's there is no surprise. There's no, I'm not going to catch anybody off guard. They know what they're getting going into this game. So the margin of error is there. And I mean, I really want that 1 seed too. So, I got to watch out for Chris and I got to watch out for all those guys, mishmashed in the Front Yard East. So I'm very content with where I'm at. I don't want to say the division's over with because it's just not, that's not factual. And really the Hornets and the Bombers, I think, can still obviously make a run at that wild card. It's going to have to probably be the last spot though, because I have a hard time seeing the Royals and Expos slipping out. And even the Twins, I mean, things go their way. They could very easily just have the opposite season in the second half. Maybe he has a second half Chris run. You can't, rule things out. So there's a lot of variables. I'm happy where I'm at. I will say though, and I'm gonna put this out there and respectfully put it out there. I'm obviously a championship is the goal, but I'm straight up going for 14-0. I'm pushing all my chips forward. I'm going for 14-0. That would just be cool to me. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. I can see 2 losses on the schedule at least, but I just want to say that. Hey, I went 14-0. That would just be a cool little thing to add. If I don't get it, great, but that's a goal of mine, and it goes hand in hand with just getting the 1 seed too. So I don't see it as an issue. But
you don't want to go full heel turn and guarantee that you're going to go 14-0, win the World Series.
I brought this up a couple of months ago. What are the odds of somebody going 14-0? But also sweeping the playoffs. And I did the math. And so we're going by everything. So if you're 14-0, you're obviously the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean you'd have to play the DS. So let's say you win the 2. So that's 16-0. The next round, another 2 games, 18-0. Then you have to win 3 in the World Series. So you'd have to go 21-0 to do that. Just like how, like, honestly, you all, like, what do you think the odds are of that? I would say that's basically impossible because I think even in the playoffs, you have to lose a game because it's just so hard to beat somebody more than once as it is.
Yeah, I think that, like, because if you think about people that have actually, like, done, like, some of the top players, like Emery, I don't think even has gone 7-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't sweep in the playoffs at all. So,
well, he went 6-1 in season 9, thanks to me.
Yeah, it's virtually impossible.
I always like to bring that up that I was the only one to beat Emery that season in the playoffs.
That is an accomplishment in and of itself. I mean, Emery, we know how great he is at this game. So, I mean, but yeah, that just goes to show you, like, it's virtually, you cannot, I just can't see somebody going, like, doing that. I really can't. Like, it was a cool little thing that I thought of one time, and I'm like, can somebody actually go 21-0?
I think somebody can. I just don't know if it'll ever happen, but I think someone can do it.
I mean, it's technically possible, but everything. The thing is, this league is so luck based that you have to hope you catch everybody on a good day. And also, I just want to point out, like, last thing I'm going to mention about myself, and then, like, we don't have to talk about myself at all, is I am convinced the only reason I am 7-0 is because every single game I have played my games on Monday in the early afternoon while I am deep into an intermittent fast. So my mental clarity is super high. So I am convinced that's the only reason I'm 7-0. That's my superstition, and I don't know what excuse I'm going to come up with when I inevitably lose a game in the second half, but I'm convinced that's the only reason I'm 7-0. Fasting and doing my games early in the afternoon, doing afternoon baseball. That's the only reason.
Day Game Bobby sounds like your next Discord name.
Wait, what was that?
Day Game Bobby.
I might have. You know what? Yeah, I might have to. That sounds like my next name.
Yeah, I know that's something that I know you've talked to me about as far as your intermittent fasting. I only intermittent fast when I'm sleeping.
Front Yard West is next, right?
Yep. Why don't you take it away?
Are you telling me or are you telling Wizard?
Yeah, go.
He's telling you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, the Fishes are having their season's going very swimmingly, pun intended. You got the Phillies hanging in there at 3-4, only 2 back, still in the wild card chase. We'll see if Vissery sticks around with us for the rest of the season. We'll see, how he plays. But just knowing the player he is, if he does stick around, he's always a threat. You got the crazy Padres. I was kind of shocked to see that they only won their second game last week because it's not a bad roster. So I very much think they could make some noise in the second half potentially. And then you've got Scott, who's if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he drafted this team, right? I think somebody dropped.
No. Yes, it was. I don't even remember.
Yeah,
so this team was drafted by the league. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow! Well,
did he draft this team, Nate?
I don't know if he drafted it or not.
I don't think he did. I think it was like
I think there was. He might have drafted it, but he wasn't the original coach as far as signups.
Because if I'm not mistaken, he was gonna sign up, then he decided against it or something like that, and then he came in as a substitute for somebody. So I don't even know that this is his team. So like him being one, yeah. So like him being 1-6 isn't like, I don't think it's a good indictment on anything. I think anytime you have a situation where a coach takes over for a team that's not what they put together, it's really hard to get a read. But has gotten a win, so that's always an accomplishment to get your first rBBL win. But yeah, Chris has a leg up in this division. That is a tough defense. In playing it, it's the only reason I even put 10 runs up on that team was because I got power-ups. But yeah, it's super loaded defensively, and I would say that I like that team to win the division based on what's going on right now, but you can't count out Visry. I'll definitely say that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we have the Backyard East. This is my division. We got JY far and above at the top of this division and playing super well this season. His Mariners, we got Marco at 4-3, and his offensive Wombats. My Rangers at 2-5. They're in third, and Zeorbox at 0-7 in fourth. And this is kind of, obviously we don't just play each other, but this looks like a traditional 4-person like division looks. Generally, if you've got like a pool, you've got somebody at 4-0 or 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-3. And obviously we didn't just play 3 games, but these records somewhat reflect that, with 2 losses separating us each.
Yeah, JY's had a super impressive first half. And I'm not saying this just because I'm in this conversation with you, Wizard, but I do like you to make some sort of run in the second half to at least challenge for a wild card. I don't know what to think of Marco's team.
I think he has 8s, like his non-divisional games left. He has 8s. He has Jibbo. He has Pepsi. He has JY. Well, that's not a non-divisional game. He has Zeorbox again, but so he's got Pepsi, Anju, and 8s, and Jibbo. So
the thing with
really
the thing with Anju and with Crazy's team is, as good defensively as they are, if he's hitting homers and they can't put enough up on the board because they seem to struggle to score, then it won't matter.
I don't know where they play those games, but I mean, I have not had a lot of offensive with my team, and we scored 11 runs at Sandy against that team. I mean, it's just super exploitable, but I think that he has as good a chance of any to make the playoffs, especially with the wild card, because like right now, and we'll get to it obviously, but you've got the 3 division winners. Let's just call it Nate, Itanium, and JY, and then Pepsi, and let's call Pepsi a shoe. And so you've got 2 spots, and the 3, 4, and 3 teams are him, Anju, and 8s, and like, I don't know. All those teams have weaknesses.
It's just something I really noticed, and we brought it up before we were on the record. Just, it seems like in the Backyard League, there's maybe 2 or 3 well-rounded teams, at least in performance. And then it seems like you have teams that are either super offensive oriented or super defensive oriented. And I think it kind of just down the stretch is going to come down to who coaches the best. When it's super one-sided like that, I think it's because I feel like sometimes even when you are the better coach, you can lose games just based on certain variables that aren't in your control. But since like there is so much like one-sidedness to some of these teams, I feel like it's going to come down to which coach uses their strengths the best.
That's kind of what you want it to come down to.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I kind of just prefer, I would, just being a coach that's had what I would consider a one-sided team last season, I prefer the team I have now for obvious reasons, but it just definitely seems more balanced. And I just prefer having a more balanced team because I have a margin for error, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like with those teams, you need to be on your game and absolutely execute your strengths to the best of your ability.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, we'll see if it holds up. I mean, obviously that game with 8s, he has 8s and Anju. They all play, like he plays both of them, so that those games will matter.
For sure.
Obviously,
and in the wild card too.
Exactly. I lost to both of them, and that's been my frustration. And you said I might make some noise. It's like I have lost games that I needed to win, and this has kind of been the story of my career. Is I always lose at least one game that I shouldn't, in my opinion. And this year, it's been more than one. So I think that's going to come back to bite me. But
Got to manifest the second half Chris energy.
exactly, I'm a first half person, which is the issue. Usually, I start really strong and then kind of fizzle, and this has been not that. So
Script writer crazy. You know what to do, script writer crazy.
Yep.
I remember that kind of like the pinnacle of or what I remember what kind of stood out to me was your season 8 is like
my Cubs
the
team.
exact description of that, because I think you were like 6-1 or something that season, then you just collapsed.
We missed the playoffs. Yeah,
Man, that's horrible.
I had a little bit of IRL stuff going on that season, but yeah, that was the last non-lock season, and it was I had all 3 pro shortstops. I mean, I had clones, but so I had Nomar, A-Rod, and Jeter on that team, and it was fun. It was those 3 and Robert Young were kind of my big 4. And yeah, that was I think it was either 6-1 or 5-2, and then we missed the playoffs. So, anyways, Nate, why don't you talk about your division?
Yeah, so 5-2, kind of on a losing streak. The last 2 games, I think we've lost. So yeah, the last 2 games not the greatest, but hoping to kind of rebound and get some good mojo going into the second half. Hopefully, we can get a good solid win and put up at least 15 runs next week. And then we got the 2-way tie that we talked about as far as Andrew and Crazy. That's going to be really interesting for the wild card. And I mean, they're only 1 game back. And then Mike maybe can put up a run, but I think it's going to come down to the top 3 as far as the division.
I've got a half-hearted joke for you.
Okay.
Nate. Well, like it's a harmless joke. And people can come back to this and like wreck me for it. Because I know I just said that I'm not going to go undefeated and I'm not going to say I'm going to win the division, but we've been talking about this through DMs for a long time already. But
okay. Where is this going now?
I'm manifesting this. Nate and I are going to meet in the playoff in the World Series, and it's going to be the most awkward thing ever because I don't want to beat Nate in a way. And like, cause you know, we talk and whatnot, and I know it's a competitive sport and sport game, and you have to, just play it out. But it when you talk to somebody so much and like you're in a competition like that, it's kind of awkward. So, but I'm manifesting it. It's going to be the Astros and the Brewers in the World Series.
Ooh, love to hear it.
I mean, that would be I would be in the World Series, so I'm not going to complain about that. My first World Series.
Courage of my conviction. If I eat dirt and I lose, I'll eat it like a man and say I was wrong. But I'm manifesting it. So
well, we are the Brewers, so making the World Series is always a challenge.
So if he loses in the playoffs, what he's saying is whoever beats him will win the World Series.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I lost to Emery in season 8 and season 9, and they, well, actually, no, not necessarily. They will make the World Series because Uriah made the World Series but lost.
Yeah, but Uriah didn't beat you, did? Oh, yeah, he did, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Uriah beat me in the championship series.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is, it's not like you've lost to people that didn't go on to do,
I guess it would be the Brewers' way.
I mean, and Uriah lost every single game to Emery by like under 5 runs, and those were the most un-Emery games you could.
No, he lost to Freak Show.
Well, so this was so what year did Emery and Uriah face? Oh, okay, so they faced season 9.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that mixed up. And then that's the last time you played Emery in the playoffs. Okay, I get it now.
I swear, if I make the World Series in Season 9, I win the World Series.
Maybe you would have.
There was nobody on the 03 side that I think that I would have lost to. I think I would have won.
Season 9 was the Uriah Emery World Series, right?
Yep.
I mean, his defense was nasty, though. I mean, Emery gets 20 runs in his sleep, and I don't think, and that was another one of my bold predictions that I'm proud to say I got right. That I said Emery wasn't going to hit 20 in any of those games.
Yeah, I think if I get past Emery and Vizzery that year, I win the World Series.
No, there's nothing wrong with thinking that.
I know that.
It's very possible.
I'll go to the grave with that.
Dang, Nate's being spicy this morning. Well, afternoon now.
Yeah, but hopefully we can make the World Series because I think I put my heart and soul into this game, especially rBBL, and I don't want to end up like really emotionally miserable like I was last season.
And we appreciate all your hard work, Nate.
So it's always kind of like in the back of my mind, I had to like, I'm kind of trying to not get too invested into this team, but even if whatever happens, I do have
Just do it. Just get invested.
Just do it. Do it. Insert the Palpatine meme from Star Wars. Do it.
Wiz, you don't want another emotional breakdown from me.
Yeah. Hey, that's my job.
Well, I guess I'm in the right spot then.
Yep.
You got the West last, right?
But I do have, no matter what happens, I have the best game in rBBL history, so.
Yeah, there you go. That's something to be proud of.
Yep, we got the last is the West.
So I'm going to pick Pepsi to actually come out of that one in a possibly shocking choice here, just because I worry about whether IT is going to be able to consistently drop. I tend to favor more defensive-oriented teams than I do offensive, because usually if you're offensive, you can be scored on. And the thing is, with more balanced teams or even defensive teams, if you get like stuck in the mud, that could cause problems. So I'm going to pick Pepsi to win this one. Probably, I may end up regretting this choice because IT is a great coach, and and I was also thinking this, that he is a mental error away from going to the World Series last year in 01. And I don't know how seriously he takes the game or what, but just maybe that being in the back of his mind serves as a sort of drive to, get back to that position and get to the World Series. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, like, almost like a sports thing, like when you have a crushing loss. But that could also happen too. So I'm just going strictly taking emotions out and just trying to think of this from a structural roster based standpoint. He's got all the offense we know he can generate that. But is his defense going to do enough? Like, there's going to be a lot of games where basically everybody can get 10 on it if they want to, with the right coach, with the right, setup. But is he going to be able to consistently outscore everybody else? And I just think Pepsi, if I'm not mistaken, has a pretty balanced roster. So that's why I kind of lean towards him ultimately winning the division, because he put 21 runs up. It's not like he struggled against the defense. It just so happened that he caught IT on a bad day. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know what you all think.
I think it's going to come down to scheduling, and I'm trying to look at the Giants' schedule.
So they got Mike. They got Mike.
And obviously, no disrespect to Cherry. Cherry's there too. I mean, he's not out of it technically. So IT
has Mike. He has me. He has Ziorbox. He has Cherry again. He has Jibbo. He has Gates, and he has Pepsi again. Pepsi's got Marco, Jibbo, Cherry again, JY and IT again. Oh, and he has Anju and eights. His eights twice? Is that right? No, that's not right.
I think IT takes it based on the schedule. I think Pepsi has a harder schedule in the second half. I think that the IT doesn't have... He has maybe like 2 games, 2 maybe 3 games that people that can actually exploit his defense, and the other ones are almost guaranteed wins for him based on the offense if he scores 20.
Just got to remember there's almost no such thing as a guaranteed win in this league.
Agreed.
So just keep that in mind.
I mean, on paper I would have to go with IT.
That's fair.
Yeah, so far in the wild card, you have Pepsi, and then you have the 3, 4, and 3 teams, the Wombats, the Indians, and the Angels.
Yeah.
So the wild card's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out. I think Pepsi is almost guaranteed a lock, and that's just going to be the...
Yeah, he keeps up his play, he'll be fine. If you had to make me pick, like, just like I said, I think Wizard can make a run here. Out of the ones that are there that are like 2 and 5 or better, I think Wizard has the better all around roster than anyone outside of like Crazy, maybe. I have to see the Devil Rays roster, but like this is just off of like what I'm assuming. Because if I'm not mistaken, wait, I always get mixed because there's the Houston Devil Rays and then there's the Houston Yankees, which is just cursed. But okay. Cherry's team has Tommy at second. I actually like Cherry's roster in a way.
I think Cherry has double Tommy.
Yeah, it's not just given he's a rookie. I think I still side with Wizard on that one. I think it's going to come down to, Andrew.
I need him or eights to not have a good second half because if I beat Marco again, I'll have the tiebreak on him, but I don't get to play eights or Anju again. They both beat me.
The thing is too, they're very capable of falling off because they're very one-sided defensively. So if they struggle on the offensive end and they're just in a bunch of ugly games where they can't score or possibly even lose to the AI, which I kind of can't see Crazy losing to the AI. I can't really even see either of them losing, but I could see them struggling to put up over 5 runs consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Week 11, they play each other, so that's going to be a big matchup.
It's going to be like 2-1 because those defenses are insane. But yeah, I could see Marco falling out, and I could see kind of Wizard being in that mix with the Angels and the Indians. And you're right. I think Pepsi's almost as good as in so long as he keeps it up. But yeah, I'm gonna predict it's gonna be Pepsi. I'm gonna say Crazy because I think he's gonna somehow manage enough offense because he's historically been an offensive coach, as far as I'm aware. And I'll be bold and I'll go ahead and say you're gonna make it, Wizard.
I appreciate it. I think I agree on eights. Anju has a tough second half. I need him to struggle.
Yeah, he has to go. Nate, you get to play him week 12.
No, I don't get him again.
No, I'm telling Nate. He plays.
Oh, Nate, yeah.
So he does get him at home, but still having to play Nate is not easy.
I have Sandy back-to-back weeks, so we're taking a slight vacation on the beach in weeks 12 and 13.
I hope you're feeling crabby.
He has JY, Pepsi, and Nate.
Well, JY already kind of nuked Crazy's defense. He got 17 on it.
No, he has Anju.
No, I know, but I'm saying, because since we're talking about these defensive teams.
Oh, yeah.
He's shown that he can score even on a tough defense. So, I mean, if he... And And again, the Angels and the Indians are going to play each other, so they're going to beat each other up there. So yeah, Angie does kind of have a murderer's row here. He's got JY and Crazy in back-to-back weeks.
But then he also and Nate.
So in 3 weeks span, he's got all those guys.
He also though has Zorbox and he has Mike and he has Marco. So those
the question comes down to, let's say he wins those 3 games. 7 games enough?
I think 7 games is enough in the front yard for sure, or in the backyard for sure, because if I get to 7, I have the tie break. Unless Cherry if Cherry has a 5-2 second half, but his division is so hard. I don't see that happen. Like he's going to have to see Titanium and Pepsi again.
Tough
so
stuff,
really, yeah. Anyways, it should be fun.
Yeah, it's that's a very fun race there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the rest of the season's going to turn out, and we will be here every step of the way, giving our thoughts and opinions and what's going on with it. Love to see it, and hopefully we'll have some good match of the weeks. I do not know if we have any match of the weeks planned for week 8 or not. Probably should bring that up in the channel. Just gotta make sure that that Wizard is not on match of the week so we can get some wins.
That's it. The issue is I've been simul streaming this year. That's how I win games. I distract my opponent.
Yeah, I lost a tough one to you last season in 01, and I barely
lost. Was it a simul
lost.
stream?
Yeah, it was a simul stream.
Yeah,
it was Matt's. It was at your place, and like I think I was like a home run away from winning that game.
That's right. I think it came down to the end. I remember I was trying to simul stream everybody last year.
I almost beat you, and I almost beat IT on the road, and that probably would have gotten me in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, because you were in my division last year. We had a good division last year. Who was? It was
that division was
somebody else.
Yeah, that division was insane.
Who was our 4th? It was us 3 and somebody else.
I think Toast was in there, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he took over for somebody.
Yeah, he took over for Benjaminian, I think.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah, there was like 5 or 6 people in that division because it was the 2 divisions.
Yeah, it was. We had a strange setup last year or last season.
Oh yeah, we had the 6 and the 5.
Yeah, I think it was me. It was us 3, and then it was
Toast.
Slim,
yeah,
and Toast.
That's a damn good division.
It really was, because I split with everybody in that division, and I think I swept the Padres. And
Toast, yeah.
Yeah, and I think when I played Schlim, I beat him by multiplier in game 1. In game 2, because we still had the old extra innings rules, like it didn't matter. Like if you scored, you scored.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that freaking insane extra inning effort where like I dropped 8 runs and almost came back and won.
I'm getting on my World Series ring. I'm getting +0 on the side, engraved on the side.
+0.
Are
you gonna have a custom ring made?
No. If anything, I want to get these T-shirts rolling. These 5, this merch store. Surely we can get them printed for cheap and sell them for like $15. I think that'd be so dope.
I guess we got to start the Backyard Sportscenter merch store.
For sure.
Like you could do a blueback keychain or like a crab keychain. Like I got ideas, man.
Well, we have the group chat, Wizard. So we'll post all the ideas there. We can all talk about that.
Yeah, I keep them. I've been so absent on the Discord lately. I need to get back in.
But I think you've gone kind of off the chain a little bit. I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. Thanks, Bobby, for coming on.
Good luck to everybody in the second half. Have fun.
Yeah, but thanks, Bobby, for coming on, and a little bit of a kind of big milestone. Next episode will be our 40th, so thanks for everyone that's hopped on, and thanks for everyone that's listened. And we'll see you guys in episode 40.